moving on then. So that's biosciences. We then want to start to look at the other sector that we're focusing on in terms of this conference, which is around digital. And I'm delighted to welcome Valda Goodfellow, Managing Director of Goodfellow & Goodfellow, to give the digital entrepreneur perspective. So welcome and thank you.
Thank you. Sexy plate. I bet you thought you'd never see that at this conference, did you? Very digital, isn't it? I'm going to explain about that in a minute. Thank you for inviting me to this conference. I am North East born and bred and very proud to be so. Amazing speech, Steve. I am totally in awe of some of the businesses that are here today, because I'm like this big and everybody else is, wow, they are mega businesses. But I have no outside investment. It's all my money. It's all my risk. It was started from scratch, and we've been through some really tough challenges. But like this region has been through some really tough challenges, we as business people always find a way through. And that is, I think, what I want to bring out of my speech to you today, is that big businesses are sometimes at the decision makers who are outside of this region, and they can lift those businesses and move them, close them down, take them elsewhere. We were born here, we live here, and we are staying here. And we have to find a way to survive and win. Now, I've been called a digital entrepreneur. I'm very proud of that. Because I don't feel like a digital entrepreneur, can't even say it. But it's slightly better than one of my first famous titles, which was Sausage Queen of the North. I'd better go on to explain that. I used to run a sausage factory here in Thornaby 20 odd years ago. And the sausage factory was in terrible troubles because we had a crisis called the BSE crisis. And it was like mass panic. But unlike we've been panicking for 2 years over Brexit, this was, oh my God, we can't eat meat anymore. And we have a sausage factory. What do we do? So, I'm going to warn you that there's another sex bit in this story. I'm not obsessed, but we actually, this was in the days when we still had faxes. And the big SE crisis happened on the Thursday. Everybody went, oh shit, what's going to happen? Let's put these massive adverts in. Let's do this, let's do that. I sent a fax to every supermarket buyer saying, do you practice safe sex? If so, buy safe sausages. Now, all supermarkets, there's a loose connection there somewhere, isn't there? My thinking was all supermarket buyers were under the age of 30, the only thing they cared about was sex. So in this world of panic, where nobody knew what to do, the point is, be brave. Find a way and be brave. So, I built up the sausage factory, hung my white wellies up, went and left the world of pigs and moved on to pots and pans. I went and joined my husband's business, which was failing at the time, I will admit it. He's a bit crap at business, but he's a great salesman. So, I went to help him out. So, don't tell him I said that. So we had another crisis, and that was the Chinese flooded our market. Pots and pans. We sell to chefs and restaurants and hotels and things. And pots and pans are made of stainless steel. And the Chinese suddenly flooded the market in early 2000 with loads of pots and pans. We had this tiny little business, and we went, shit, how are we going to survive? So what we did was we restructured our business and we said, we've got these amazing customers all over the country. Let's sell them something else that the Chinese can't yet copy. And that's what we did. We moved in a completely different direction. We didn't have to put a 500-page strategy together. I didn't have to get it through a board of directors. I just told my husband, this is what we're doing. So we managed to effect that really quickly, and we built our business up to become the leading niche player in our market because we were brave and we decided that panic, like has been said, offers opportunities. And I think the trouble is we've been bombarded with fear for the last 2 years, and that's all we can see now. But there are opportunities. Panic always creates opportunities. And yet here we are again with Brexit. So we sold our business just at the start of the financial crash in 2008 to a PLC. Woohoo! So we have impeccable timing. And we stayed with this PLC for 3.5 years. It was the longest 3.5 years of my life because I know not all big corporations are like this, but it was painful. The speed of change, trying to push initiatives forward and do the best you can, takes so bloody long. And that's why I love smaller businesses. And let's face it, big businesses are hard to come by and hard to get into regions. It's people like me and people like you, some of you in this audience, that will make sure that the smaller businesses continue to feed what this region is about. And it's hard. There isn't anything that's easy about business. So, sexy place. The digital bit. So our new business, and we have some very handsome chefs that we talk to as well. Our new business, we sell the most expensive, exclusive, and I get as much money for it as I can, tableware, to the country's best restaurants, best hotels, best caterers, and event managers. We have a showroom in London where they think we're absolutely amazing. And I don't go down there very often because I talk too northern for them. But in our London showroom, you know, we get all the best people coming in. So how does a little business from the northeast capture the imagination of the country's top of its industry? And we did that because when we left our velvet prison of our PLC life, we never for 1 minute thought about taking our money out of this region and living a life of sun, golf and yachts on the Costa Blanca or wherever people go. We wanted to reinvest. I'm an entrepreneur, and my money comes from this region, and I want to reinvest my money in this region. This is my decision. It's money in my bank that I put into my business. So we decided to start again, but we had to be 6 months out of our industry. And in that 6 months, it felt like everything had changed, because we were outside of our industry looking in. And it's a very privileged thing to do when that carousel stops spinning and you have to stand back. You realise that a lot has changed around you. And it hadn't just suddenly changed. We'd just been too busy to know that it had changed. And so what we did is we realised that people were communicating in a completely different way. The younger people in the industry were driving that change in how information was accessed, how products were found, how trends emerge. And this thing about fake news is if you say something long enough, it becomes the perceived truth. And that is how people manipulate markets. It's by managing, creating and controlling trends. And there isn't anything better than the digital world for being able to manage trends. So what we did was we said the world has changed and let's just rip up the rule book of what we did before in business. And let's look at what's needed now. And we did that from the start. And so we invested a lot of money into making our products look incredible and actually transmitting that information to our customers in the way they wanted to receive it. Now, I get so confused by how much you need to know about the digital world. But to me, all that matters to me is, does it help my business? This is a new toolkit, and you have to know how to use it. And that's all we did. We picked up that new toolkit and we adapted that to make us into a different style of business that was actually ready for today and tomorrow. We can create a trend with an image like this, put it out on Twitter and Instagram with the right language, and that's where the sexy plates came in. We actually create our own language, because if you say something long enough, it's like Hoover, it's like all of these brands that become synonymous with the best and sometimes the worst. But we create our own language and we put enough of it out there across every digital medium so that we influence every decision maker in our business. So our business sells to celebrity chefs, it sells to everybody who is the best in our industry. But they just don't find you by accident. You have to find your customers. And as things change and adapt, you have to find a new way. So for us, we re-examine this every single day as to how we need to survive. And the challenges of Brexit are no different to any other panic stations we've been through in the last 25 years. There still will be business. The majority of us in this room can't affect the infrastructure decisions that happen. We can't do anything about that. But businesses soldier on. And I think the message that I want to give you today is that you will find a way, but you need to look at what your market needs and adapt to that, not think that your market will adapt to you. And sometimes this region has been accused of being too inward looking. While everybody's coming out of the high street and retail, we're going into it. But that's because our customers have asked us to do that. We have customers all over the world that are brought to us by our digital marketing. And so we are now selling to private consumers because that's what they've told us they want us to do. So I am a tiny digital entrepreneur, but I think that what I've proved in my career is that whatever life throws at you, if you're tough enough, if you're resilient enough, and if you put enough thought into it, you will find a way. Thank you.